welcome to the Into the 99 podcast, where we got 99 cards because Commander's number one. I am your hostess with the mostest, and as always, we are joined by Brian, Ryan, Hope, and Dan.
What up?
As always, joined by Ryan.
Good morning. How's everyone going?
What's up?
As always, enough. He was on the last episode.
Yeah, he's a new thing that's always here.
Ryan and Benson have been helping us out with a bunch of stuff as the Discord server grows and the stuff we do grows. We've got some new team members.
Obviously, we need to grow.
Yeah,
Live, laugh, love.
One of us has grown quite enough. It's me.
I know.
Today we're talking another Commander Legends deck pairing and possibly the most budget deck I've ever done. I know it's a lot to take in. That it's not $1,200.
It's under 200.
It's under 200 with a Savannah.
Did you have a stroke?
It has a Savannah in the deck.
Yeah, but the Savannah has no price on it.
Oh, on my thing it shows it as that. It's still regardless.
I was like, nope.
What is it on there? It's only $154.
Yeah, I know.
Decks for everyone.
Free.
Dirt cheap. That's free in the Magic world.
It's Livio and Kodama. So first and foremost, Zach also, before we started, he just kind of got into the fact that with Commander Legends, he just can't stop brewing decks.
Cannot.
When we started we did the spoilers, I looked at it. I had a bunch of just pre-ingrained ideas of like, I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do that one. And I haven't even gone with any of those pairings because as the cards in the set came out, I just got way more inspired, not just because I pulled these cards initially, but I just got way more inspired to try these new pairings out. And I ended up with Livio and Kodama as the one that I just kind of threw it together when I was building decks. That one day I was building a bunch and I thought, I'll give it a try. And I played it a few games and it just was so much fun. It was one of the most fun decks I've ever played. So that's the one we're talking about today. And Hope, get into it and let us know what Livio is.
Okay, so Livio, Oathsworn Sentinel, is 1 and a white for a 2/2 human knight. So for 1 and a white, choose another target creature. Its controller may exile it with an Aegis counter on it. And for 2 and a white, tap it, return all exiled cards with Aegis counters on them to the battlefield under their owner's control. So that's interesting in the fact that you could choose another target creature. Does it have to be yours? Which is interesting.
It's very nice that Livio has the ability to kind of be a little bit of a politics creature that you can say like, hey, like I'll save your creature from getting it brought back, getting it exiled. Just don't swing it at me.
Yeah. I'll save your creature. I'll give you a second ATB, whatever. And then Kodama, conversely, is 4 green for a legendary creature spirit, 6/6 with reach. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put onto a battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser CMC from your hand onto the battlefield.
Yeah,
This guy I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
I've started brewing a deck with him and Rock.
So, before we even get into more of the deck, I just wanted to talk about how good that ability is. It's anything. It's not if you cast a spell. It's not if you play a spell. It's any spell or any permanent that enters. You can put things in. And lands entering, because it has the CMC equal to or less, you can, every time a land enters, if you cultivate, you can put all your lands in.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a weird and unique ability that green honestly just didn't need access to.
That is true.
Come on, green totally needs more.
Oh, it just, you know what I mean? You've got 10 cards in hand. Somehow you make 5 tokens and you dump 5 lands into play with your tokens. Untapped, like it's such gross. A good permanent. But the reason that I like the pairing with these two so much is that Livio, allowing you to constantly flicker your things if you have the extra mana, lets you double up on 2 things. Thing number 1 is that you are going to be able to just abuse Enter the Battlefield. It's a nice political tool, but we're using it obviously for our own Enter the Battlefield effects.
Daniel taking advantage of Enter the Battlefield effects? I never.
Enter the Battlefield is just one of my favorite things, that and Landfall. And this is kind of both. I don't know whose Discord sound is going off. It is driving me nuts.
Yeah, well, sometimes it be like that.
It do be like that sometimes. I don't even know why. Sorry, anyone who's not listening. Or who's not watching.
Who's not listening.
Everyone who's not listening, I apologize. You're all the worst. So the second ability of this is because Kodama is a triggered ability, we basically are giving ourselves pseudo flash. We're able to cheat permanents into the battlefield when it's not our turn. in speed we couldn't normally get them out or play them because of Livio's ability to blink things and us to dump things in. Every time we blink something with Livio, we basically are able to get off a slew of creature effects or anything. Even if Kodama just worked for creatures, it would be great. But you can dump in different
any permanent
planeswalkers. Like if you wanted to go a little more pillow forty with this, you could really easily just bounce a creature with a good ETB and dump out a Norn's Annex to stop a big goblin storm from coming at you, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of really, really cool. I know that you said to slow down on cards, Brian, but I'm too excited about Livio.
Get into it.
So I just want to get the first thing out of the way. It's Planeswalker. It's Garruk Unleashed. It's 2 green. He only has 3 abilities. He starts at 4. +1, up to 1 target creature gets 3/3 and trample till end of turn. Great ability. It's green on a stick. -2, create a 2. Oh, I can't talk today. Create a 3/3 beast token, and then if an opponent controls more creatures, put a loyalty counter on him. So also great. And then -7 is you get an emblem at the beginning of your end step. Search your library for a creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle.
Ooh.
Not only is
That's so good.
it's a really good card, but it'll let you go for your higher CMC things, dump them into play if you can get this alt off, and then you'll be able to
Play
dump
whatever's
in your hand. Yes.
Very nice. Very spicy. That's a spicy meatball.
Yeah. So I will.
Bananas.
Zach, do you see where our instants are here?
Yeah.
I'll let you quickly just burn through our instants because there's not very many.
Burn
All
it.
right, so
Burn it all down.
first one, Long Road Home, 1 and a white. Exile target creature at the beginning of the next end step. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it.
Again.
Naturalize, 1 and a green. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Oblation, 2 and a white for an instant. The owner of target non-land permanent shuffles it into his or her library, then draws 2 cards. Return to dust, 2 white. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If you cast a spell during your main phase, you may exile up to 1 other target artifact or enchantment. Return to nature, 1 and a green. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact. Destroy target enchantment. Exile target card from a graveyard. And rounding out the final bit for instance is Sundering Growth. Hybrid white-green. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, then populate.
Sundering Growth is
slaps.
so good.
I do
Yes.
really, really like Sundering Growth. There's going to be just a ton of creatures in this one that we're going over, so that's why I wanted to get through some of these really quickly.
Kodama reads as when it enters the battlefield, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So populate slaps.
Yeah.
Populate's good. Long Road Home is very sick. I like that a lot in this deck.
That's a really good protection card for sure, because you are going to want... The one thing is you want to have untapped mana so you can blink things. You can make those political tools so people don't lose like a high-cost creature or something that's important. For Brian, you become his new life partner if you save his Seedborn Muse.
That is true. That's a fact.
He dubs you Gwen, and you're good to go. So in the artifacts, some of the best cards in this deck are...
No one's make that offer.
The artifacts have some of the best utility in this deck. There's your normal... I have like 2 ramp ones because we're in green. We don't need... There's a Soul Ring. There's a Selesnya Locket. So number 1, you're going to be cheating permanents in. You have to draw cards. I cannot stress that enough. It's the same as whenever people play things like... I see a lot of Kalia decks, and they just don't include card draw. Cheating your big 9 drops in doesn't work if you don't have any 9 drops in your hand.
You have nothing in your hand.
Yeah, right? So
It sucks.
in this, there's a few cards that are just going to work for a strategy. Number 1, Howling Mine. Who gets mad at Howling Mine? Everyone's drawing. You don't care if people are drawing. You are out benefiting your opponents.
Horn of Greed is the other one. That same. Nobody has a problem with that.
Yeah. A really nice thing, too, about Kodama is you can stack the abilities how you want. So you can Horn of Greed, draw, see if that's the permanent you want to put in with a land or another land. It's very nice.
What?
You can stack Kodama's ability to go off after the other ability.
Yeah.
So if you play a land with Horn of Greed, you draw a card. If it's another land, you can put it into play.
Oh, I see it. I see you.
Yeah.
Very neat.
So anyways, there's 2 cards in particular. Genesis Chamber. Anyone who's playing an Enter the Battlefield deck should run Genesis Chamber. It's less than 50 cents. It's 2 colorless mana. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, if it's untapped, that creature's controller creates a 1/1 colorless mirror. So it generates you a really, really solid amount of blockers. It's indispensable, and it's kind of group huggy because it gives other people theirs. But again, if you're the Enter the Battlefield deck, you are going to beat your creatures in, or beat your opponents in non-creature. I was up late.
I was gonna say, like, is your brain exploding? But like, very, very cool for you. Very nice.
All right.
He's just so excited.
Exploding.
And then the last one that is just really, really valuable in this deck, you are going to find yourself with no cards in your hand very frequently. You're in green, you have the mana to play your things, you're cheating things into play, you're going to have no cards in hand frequently, and you want to play Juriper Orrery. 4 colorless, each player can play an extra land. Again, a little bit of group hug. I had too much group hug into decks, but that's all right. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if they have no cards in hand, they draw 3.
I don't see
Group
an issue
hug's
with that.
awesome.
Well, because group hug is relative, right? Like, so if you're playing all the stuff that like is making you go off super fast and super hard, then if your opponents are playing an extra land, like it doesn't really matter because you're playing like 4. You know, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Even trade.
Ryan, do you see where our enchantments start here?
I do.
Yeah, I'll let you take them away here. Just go through a few of these.
All right, we have Blessed Sanctuary. It's 3 colorless, white enchantment. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and creatures you control. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white unicorn creature token. Can't see any reason why this would not be amazing in this deck. Make more creatures, bring more creatures in.
Yeah, I ended up pulling some of these, and I just didn't really have a spot for them. Then I wanted a spot for them, and then I didn't have enough. So I think Brian traded me the one I actually put into this deck.
I was gonna say, when did you get unicorns?
I got unicorns twice, and I didn't get the good unicorn.
Really?
Yeah, it's brutal. Jumpstart, where's my refund?
The card is so good, Emil.
Oh, I want one.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
Hey,
I have one that I can give you guys.
you have an Emil?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, Hope went through all of my cards and didn't take it the other day.
I didn't see it.
The next one is Court of Bounty, 2 colors, green enchantment. When Court of Bounty enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you're the monarch,
Ryan was up
if
late
you're
too.
the monarch, instead you may put a creature or land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Also, bonkers with Kodama.
Yeah, I just love the ability to dump permanents in. The whole point of this deck, like, there's no good way to name it because, like, you don't want to name it Kodama Dump.
Oh,
Kodama dumps
takes a
out.
dump. Love it.
The next one is Elemental Bond. Whenever a creature with power 3 or greater enters, you draw a card. Again, you need to draw that. I cannot stress enough that if you are playing a deck like this, draw cards.
Well, if you're playing big creatures, there's so many cards that reward you for playing 3 or above, 4 or above, things along those lines.
Brian, you take the next one away because it's right up your alley.
So for the next one we have is Felidar Retreat. I need to make this bigger. Landfall, so it's an enchantment. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose 1. Create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn.
Yeah, that's
Card is
definitely
so
up Hope's alley for
good.
sure.
She's a very happy girl. It's one of my favorite cards that came out of Zendikar.
Yeah, there's not very
I
many.
do really enjoy that one.
There's not very many non-creatures. I'm just gonna Ryan. You just finished this whole segment up here.
Okay.
We'll
Garrick's
talk about it as we
Uprising, 2 colorless, green.
That's okay. I was like 2 colorless and a green.
enchantment.
Whenever when Garrick's Uprising enters the battlefield, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw again with the draw. Creatures you control trample again with the slap in the face. And then whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw.
Love this
See,
card.
there's another one. Yeah.
Draw and then draw some more, and then punch your friend, and then draw some more.
What could the next one be?
Guardian Project.
This-
Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature in your control or a creature card in your graveyard, draw a card. So as long as it's not a token,
Such a good card for Commander.
sure.
And really good
That's
proof that they
perfect.
make this game for Commander players.
They sure do.
One of my favorite green cards.
I honestly,
Promise of Tomorrow.
really quickly before we move on,
go
I
ahead.
really wish they would just reprint Guardian Project already. I can never find it
Agreed.
anymore.
Oh no, it's impossible.
I wish
to
they
find.
would. I literally, every store I go into, if there's a Guardian Project, I just buy it.
Oh, it's so good.
Even if I don't have a deck for it, I just buy
I've
it.
been having the same issue finding Helm of the Host.
Oh,
None of my
Helm
Impossible.
of the Host already. That's also just such a good Commander card. We design around standard. Wink,
Okay,
wink. Yeah.
whatever you say, guys.
It's an 11 mana.
Because
it's an
people
11
play
mana.
standard.
Yeah, 11 mana effect, and they're like, yeah, this was balanced around standard. Legendary rule doesn't apply. We're good. Nobody sees what we're doing. We understand. We get it, wizards.
It's harmless.
Yeah, because it's 5 and then 6 is it not to equip?
I thought it was
4 or 5.
4
4
or
to
5?
cast, 5 to
It's
equip.
9. Same thing.
That's still steep,
Same
number.
Until you cheated into playing Godo.
You started with Promise of Tomorrow. Go ahead, because I really like this card.
Me too.
Promise of Tomorrow, 2 colorless white enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, exile it. At the beginning of each end step, if you control no creatures, sacrifice Promise of Tomorrow, return all cards exiled this way to the battlefield under your control.
Oh, that just definitely helps you out there with that.
That's kind of
I can't see any shenanigans happening in this deck with this card.
That's also a very nice like insurance policy. Also,
Someone
on the
board
side
wipes
note.
me.
Right, that's crazy.
Do it again.
I
Thanks,
dare you.
guys. Not only did you get everything that was in play, but everything in my hand.
And then the most
Yeah,
obvious
right?
card to put in this deck, Wilderness Reclamation. 3 and a green at the beginning of your end step. Untap all your lands. You have a creature that has a mana ability to sink in. You definitely want it. Even if it's just to flex on them, be like, hey, do you want to exile that Emrakul? And they're like, no, I'm good. All right. Just checking. Just checking, just to make sure. Yeah, my
I like it.
sorceries. Yeah, I did not put
I feel like your sorceries are essentially just like ramp.
ramp and guess what, some draw. We won't even get into it. There's a gen wave. It's a green deck. What did you expect?
It's ramp and draw. That's really.
I don't think I've ever put a Gen Wave in any deck, Dan.
Really.
What?
Gen
I
waves
love
are
that
so
card.
fun.
I love Gwen Wave. I will never stop, Brian. Can't stop, won't stop.
So I think the only card to really talk about in the sorceries would be Sudden Disappearance. So
Talk about it,
it's
my
fun.
guy.
Sudden Disappearance is
I don't
actually before Zach tells everyone what it does. It's one of the cards that I've seen tilt people the greatest, and I love it.
It's 5 and a white. Exile all non-land permanents target player controls. Return the exile cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step.
Oh, so you're just
They just
bouncing
left all
around.
that food on the fire.
Well, you can. So it has the ability to, again, with so much draw stuff out, we can balance everything. We'll end up drawing like 10 cards on everything coming back in, putting them in with Kodama's ability. It's really good for us, but it's also really, really good
to ruin token decks.
or just to kill someone, just flat out. Like
Yeah.
Brian's got like the whole pillow fort set up. He has humility. Not today.
That's crazy, Brian.
Not today, Brian.
Why would we ever pick on Brian?
I always ask
wouldn't
myself
love
that question.
The other one is
I would never.
it's a card that I wish it had a lower CMC, but I find myself really liking this card lately when I'm playing big things. And it's Hunter's Prowess. 4 and a green. Until end of turn, target creature gets 3/3 trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards. So it's a lot easier to justify, like, listen, I'm going to hit you for 12, but you got no blockers this way, but I need 12 cards.
I don't think that's that easy to justify.
Yeah, well, it's easier than me just being like, I'm going to hit you for 12.
All right, because I'm gonna say I'm like that's more than 25% of my life, but like very cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah, like I guess if I have no blockers, I'll take it.
Feels good. Yeah, I guess since I have no options,
that's how I bargain. Yeah, so I'm going to swing this at you. Well, I can't stop you.
sometimes it'd be like that.
Nice making a deal with you.
Guess I'm drawing cards.
All right, now you guys just feel free to go with this list however you want, because I, unlike Zach, don't organize it.
What the?
I'm gonna start with probably one of the most like underrated, overlooked cards of Commander Legends, and that's Bladegriff Prototype. I love this
Start
card.
at the top of the list, Zach. What are you doing?
You said start where I want. I'm doing it.
Savage.
This card, I've went into so many shops and I've actually been picking them up because I think they're great, and I've had people read it and they're just like, wait, what is this do? So Bladegriff Prototype is a 5-cost artifact creature. It's a 3/2 Griffin. It has flying. Whenever Bladegriff Prototype deals combat damage to a player, destroy target non-land permanent of that player's choice that one of your opponents controls.
No.
I love this card.
That's
making
so
me
mean.
making me choose what I want to blow up.
Well, no.
Yes.
So that's the thing. I say, like, Brian. Let's say that I have a card that's problematic out. I have, for instance, Hull Breacher. Hope can say, listen, I'm going to hit you for 3, but you can get rid of the Hull Breacher for the table.
Yeah.
So there's no real risk to you having the creature, and there's just a ton of political options with the card. I really, really think it's a good card.
I would really like my.
You might.
I'd really like
mind
to
if I
have
attack
my
you?
Hull Breacher. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought that was such a good card for Commander Legends. It really a lot of people don't politics. Like I know it sounds crazy because it's like we talk about it all the time. Our play group very obviously does, but a lot of people just don't have any idea about the politicsing in the game and the like actually talking to people. They just go into it as if they're playing against 4 robots and they just try win. And the game's so much not only more fun, but it's just easier to play when you realize that your opponents are also there to help you out in a way.
And that's what I like. That's what I like about this card is it's a lot of fun because it's a good card on its own, but just being able to like have those kind of conversations and open up the board to just, hey, I'm going to do this and this is going to be kind of fun. What are we blowing up? You know, it's a good time. More cards like this, like kind of forcing people to actually play Commander the way that it was kind of intended to be played, I think is nice.
Well,
I try to politic, but no one wants to do it.
At the end of the day, this card's going to make your play group talk to you. Okay, don't, I would like to not lose my things. Swing at me, please.
Please attack me.
It turns into some weird fetish card. No, hit me. I beg you. Please.
I'll start with the first card, since that's what Dan intended.
Thank you.
4 colors, white, 5/5. Oh, Aegis Angel. Is a 5/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control the Aegis Angel.
Who needs boots when you can do it for 6 mana on anything?
These are better than shoes.
you do get a 5/5 with them, so I understand. But
I just really like it. I love the ability to be able to blink things in and out, but the permanent is the thing I care about, because there's a bunch of cards like I really undersold how important Juriper Orrery is to this deck to be able to get that extra 3 card draw at the start. You really want to make sure people don't get rid of what's important.
Yeah, you got
what you need. Back to take a dump. She's protected.
Yep. I love this one. Again, we can get cards in pretty cheap with the Livio, but if we have to panic, like somebody has gone a little too hard, we have Angel of Grace. It's 3 white for a 5/4. Flash Flying Angel. When it enters the battlefield until end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. And then for 2 white, exile it from your graveyard. Your life total becomes 4 white. Sorry.
I have never seen this card before. This is awesome.
I love all of these cards from
Ravnica Allegiance.
Ravnica Allegiance, yes. I just thought they were all so good, but it's an Angel's Grace on a creature with ETB. The fact that I can blink it in and out kinda really does save me from a lot of deck strategies. The most common deck strategy you're going to see is dying. It is. It's not all fast as Oracle combos. It's dying. It's the general win con of most decks is I swing, or as I like to call it, bonk.
Yeah, I kill you.
Yeah, so things to know about this card. Commander damage still kills you.
Yeah, obviously. Mm-hmm. Commander damage still kills you. Not being able to draw still kills you. Infect still kills you.
Yeah. Oof. Infect won't reduce you to less than 1.
Let me tell you.
Reduce me to less than 1 happiness.
Yeah, well, that's
another card that I thought was just really weird from the set is Archon of Coronation. Not 2 white. 4 white. It's a flying Archon 5/5. When it enters, you become the Monarch, and I really wanted to get some of those Monarch things because what's important in the deck, Brian?
Card draw.
Brian gets it. As long as you're the Monarch, damage doesn't cause you to lose life. Which again, the same as the last panic button card, will not stop you from dying to commander damage.
Big mood. But still.
Big mood. Do not try this against Voltron decks. I'm only repeating that because of not something I did.
What?
I blinked it in and out. I was like, yeah, I'm safe. They're like, I'll swing at you for 30. I was like, yeah, I'm good. And they're like,
nope, you die.
I was like, well, I thought that interacted differently in my head.
Nope.
It didn't.
I am in danger.
I was in danger. Birds of Paradise. Love it. It's a beautiful card.
It's a rare card.
It should be in everything.
It's fine.
Everything. Mono blue, Birds of Paradise.
Next one, Captain of the Watch. 4 colorless, white for a 3/3 human soldier. Vigilance. Other soldier creatures you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance. And when it enters the battlefield, you put 3/1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield.
That is very good.
Seems good.
Yeah. Well, you can get some cheap permanents out that way, like cheap lands in your hand if you've drawn them. If not, you have something you can blink in and out to constantly basically be getting 2/2s. I know that they're not 2/2s; they're 1/1s that get 1/1, but
No,
still,
but yeah,
for all intents and purposes.
exactly.
Yeah, it's relevant.
Yeah. Well, and then the next one that we've got is Cavalier of Dawn. I loved all of the Cavalier.
Oh, so good! You can't again cards you just can't find.
Very cool. So this is the white one. It's a 2 colorless, 3 white for an elemental knight. 4/6 with vigilance. When it enters a battlefield, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token, and when it dies, return target artifact or enchantment from your graveyard to your hand. So across the board.
Brian's just shaking his head, but I love this card. Like the artwork on it's good. It's a huge body for blocking. Like 6.
The art looks amazing.
6 is good, and in this deck, you don't really care so much about the weird, 3 white costs.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to dump them in for free.
Yeah, you're dumping them in for free. And aside from that, even if you're not dumping them in, you have so much mana because you're able to put so much land into play.
Yeah.
Seeing all of these high casting, I had to take a look at the average, and
I did the same thing.
Yeah, 3.99.
It's not horrible, but let me tell you, there's some
green,
real big things.
but you're getting it's green, and you also get that free play off your commander, right? So
I underestimated. And I know I'm speaking the blasphemy here. I might have to put more lands in this deck. I ran out of lands. Not because I needed them, but because there was no more lands to put into the deck. I ran out so fast because there's some other ETBs down the line that you're gonna see. But it was pretty bad. I played it. I've only played 4 times with it. All 4 times, I've had well above 20 lands, and one was against a mill deck.
Wow.
You are finally crossing over to the light side, Dan. I'm proud of you.
No way. Unnecessary. I won't
We're
There's not enough
switching
Livio now.
sides.
If it's not 31 or less, I don't want to talk. I'm just kidding. I
I was
switch-
just shaking my head at
It's
it.
it's so
I'd love
weird.
to
We're
see
switching
3
sides.
31 lands with a 4, basically 4 average CMC.
Well, I normally play
People are
34.
savage.
I normally play 34, depending.
I really like a nice 33, but
Ugh.
this deck, like I said, anyone who does play Kodama will very, very quickly realize they should have never printed this card.
They never should have gave me that $1,200.
They never should have made this card. It is so silly how strong it is. Green.
I'm really interested to see how it works with Rock.
I can't wait to put it into my rune deck, Brian.
No.
Yeah.
Zach and I are brewing Sakashima with Kodama.
Yeah. You guys are bad people as well, and I love it.
We are.
It's gonna be so much fun.
12
much fun.
12 Kodamas on the field.
Do you Deadeye Navigator?
Just
Ugh.
everything.
The grunt.
Just
Also,
Alright, so
straight out, Commander Legends had good artwork. I just got to say that.
yes.
Oh.
Artwork was gorgeous.
This next card's artwork is awesome.
That's what I'm saying. It really gives me a real Princess Mononoke vibe.
Yeah,
I
super
love it.
weird. It's a Donglade region. So for 5 and 2 green, you get 8/8 ilk. So
Big boy.
when he enters, you become the monarch. As long as you are the monarch, permanents you control of hexproof. Asceticism 2, electric boogaloo.
First off, being able to bounce 7 is going to hit nearly every permanent in the deck, if not every. So it's such a good thing to bounce. It can put any permanent in. There's not very many non-permanents in the deck. But the hexproof thing is just so good. It brings me back my draw. I get to wear the crown because I'm the king. I get
That's
it.
a
For
real
how
reason Daniel
long?
put monarch in the deck.
Yeah. I might switch this next one out because I only run one planeswalker. I was going to put more in, but it's Dejeru with Eyes Open, 3 white for a human warrior 4/3 vigilance. When it enters, you can search for a planeswalker, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle, and if a source would deal damage to planeswalker you control, prevent one of it. So the whole point of it was to go. It enters the battlefield, I fetch a planeswalker, then I trigger Kodama, and I put that planeswalker into play. Seemed like a great idea, but then I put one planeswalker in the deck.
I was going to say, it's great in theory, but you didn't make it as friendly.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should make planeswalker Kodama?
Maybe.
Could you imagine?
I like this next card a lot.
Oh, love this card.
It is it's a
Dust
really good protection spell in this. It's lovely.
It's Dust Elemental for 2 white for a 6/6 elemental creature. It has flash, flying, fear, Plus, God, all the Fs. And when Death Elemental comes into play, return 3 creatures you controlled to their owner's hands.
I pity
How-
that guy running away.
How in God's name is this like a 50-cent card? That's ridiculous.
It has a lot of abilities
It's a
stapled
6/6
onto
for
it.
4.
And
Yes.
like, sure, it gives you the downside, but number one, most times
With flash.
I'm probably going to, if I'm flashing it, take Dust Elemental back with it because I really like that protection-esque kind of spell.
Yeah.
And it's still going to let me dump my smaller creatures back into play with it.
How does it work if you don't have 3 creatures in play?
It'll
But don't think you
bounce
can
itself
play
as
it?
well. So
No,
like,
what if
Can you
you
still
have, like,
play
No,
it?
but if he
if
has
you don't
like
have.
less than
oh yeah, like if I only had, like if I had 2 creatures, like let's say I just have Livio, people are targeting me because they hate me and they want to bully me, and Livio
you deserve it.
Livio now costs 12 from the command zone. If I Dust Elemental and only Livio's out, I'd bring Livio and Dust Elemental back to my hand.
It doesn't have to have 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not an additional casting cost.
Well, and it doesn't have targets. Return 3 creatures you control. So
Yeah. Like if it was like as an additional cost or whatever, then I think then it would matter. But
yeah. So like for the
it's
next
cool, doggy.
next one's an Elvish Visionary. Very simple ETB draw a card, but that's the kind of stuff that I'm bringing back with my with my Dust Elemental because I bounce it, its ability goes off, Kodama, I put it back in.
Have you had an issue with running out of cards?
Just in that mill game. And I ran out of cards.
I
real
wonder
fast.
why.
I think Brian was there for the mill game.
But that's it. Like you haven't drawn yourself out with all this.
No, because by then I usually kill people. Usually by then bonk occurs.
Very true.
Speaking of bonk, we have Enray's Forerunners, 5 green for
One of the
board.
kings of bonks.
7/7 has Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. When Enray's Forerunners ETBs, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance, Trample until end of the turn.
Like
Very
that's
cool.
just
Balanced magic card.
I like that. I don't know. I
For
understand.
8,
I
though, like, it
understand how
has-
good Craterhoof is. Let's just talk Craterhoof for a minute. I get it. It's a better card.
But Andres is like a baby creator.
Not everything needs to have Craterhoof though, you know.
Well, an end razor costs 50 cents and
Instead of
Craterhoof costs
$50.
$50.
Every time I see Craterhoof, I'm like, there's no way I'm paying that price. And then it just goes up. And literally every time I see it, I'm like, no, I'm not paying that for a Craterhoof. And like, I'll buy duels. I don't care about that. Like those are, but I'm not for one ETB thing. Nah, I'll
It's
just.
funny. Every time I see Craterhoof, I just buy it. I don't even like, I'm just like, this is going to cost me 50. Well, I've seen 2 since I've got back into Magic, so I'll buy it.
I see them all the time, and I'm like, no, not paying that. And then I come back in the next week, and it's $15 higher. I'm like, all right, well, that's on me. I should have bought it.
And another good one too that kind of gets overlooked. That's also a Craterhoof like substitute, I would say, is Decimator of Province.
So
Oh, I
good.
love him.
I love it.
I don't even know what that card is.
It's an
so it's
Eldrazi.
Eldrazi.
It's an Eldrazi boar.
Yeah, I was gonna say Eldrazi 4. It's not boring.
It's a pig.
It's a mythic
Thank
out
you, Brian.
of
At least you enjoyed
shadows.
that.
It's 10 costs. It's just 10 colorless, but it has Emerge for 6 green. So when you cast this spell, you may sacrifice a creature, and paying the Emerge cost reduced by the amount of
The
CMC of
sacrifice
the other
difference,
creature.
CMC, yeah.
So you could potentially get this for 3 green, but the effect is it's a 7/7 with Trample and Haste, and when it ETBs, creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Trample until end of turn.
I think
That's
if
all
you
right.
sacrifice creatures with green in their mana, it pays for the 3 green. I could be wrong. I've done no looking into it, and I'm not looking at the card. But
I'm pretty sure
but
you're
I think
right.
it might work that way.
I don't know. All I know is that he's a good boy and a good pig and a good Eldrazi friend.
If you're running any ETB deck, Eternal Witness is in the deck. It's
No, if you're running any green deck,
nope.
Eternal
Any
Witness should be-
again, same thing. Mono blue, Birds of Paradise, Eternal Witness.
Yep. It should be in the deck.
I love it. It brings things back, and again, with the Kodama ability, I had to take. So the first game, I ended up taking out Terramorphic Expanse because I was just being annoying with Terramorphic Expanse and constantly bringing it back. I was nonstop flickering Eternal Witness or Sun Titans and just re-cracking it every turn, and then using it to put other lands into play as well. It was a
Love
problem.
it.
That seems obnoxious.
Yeah, I
love
spent
this.
a lot of time searching the deck, and I was like, I'm gonna cut that out right now.
I love this next card, Felidar Guardian. 3 colorless and a white for 1/4 cat beast. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile another target permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control.
I bounce, you bounce, baby.
Yeah.
With Kodama, this is Berserk.
Yeah, it's a really, really fun like card to be able to just like flicker everything in and out, and I love this card.
Maximum value.
Yeah, well,
That's all that matters, right?
the ability again to get like a 4 cost out with it alone, like you can do 4 or less CMC, and then you can blink something bigger, and yeah, just all of the end raise Forerunners bounce.
Like you could blink the next card, Fierce Empath.
Mm-hmm.
Colorless and a green for a 1/1 elf. And when it enters the battlefield, search your library for a creature with converted mana cost 6 or greater, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. I
put Findhorn in because it's finally not obnoxious in price.
Yes. I think I have like 20.
I got a foil one.
Oh, you
I'm
want
very,
a $5
very
Land
happy
War
with
Elves?
that.
Not really.
Yeah.
But it's not called Land War Elves. All right, I'm in.
But
And
it's
from
different.
Ice Age.
The next one is the Gilded Goose. I got this in the secret lair, and then I just was like, why does no one play Gilded Goose?
Daniel's fallen in love with it so aggressively.
I
He loves it.
it's
He
a
loves
great
this little
card.
bird so hard.
Birds of Paradise 2. It sure doesn't function as good as Birds of Paradise, but it does give you a bit of a mana sink. It lets you tap and sack your tokens, or your food tokens that it creates on ETB for mana of any color. I don't know, I just like the bird.
He's a
I
good
wish you
boy.
could tap and sacrifice any number of food tokens.
That would be
Yes.
super good. I don't know, I just really like this. The next card in the deck is actually Compliments of Brian, because Brian traded me this.
It's also
You're
a
welcome.
card that I can never find, and
What-
I need one so badly.
What a silly fella to trade this. I got Eternal Ronis. 3 green, Death Touch 5/5. So 5/5 Death Toucher for 5 is already real good. It's a zombie god. That's not great. That's not great news for the table. Or for the storyline. Just very sad.
Very
I
sad.
have to do an Amonkhet episode. I've got to get that off my chest.
I just have a lot of feelings.
When it enters the battlefield, double the power of each creature you control till the end of the turn. They gain vigilance till the end of the turn.
That's disgusting.
And then when he dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you can put it into the owner's library, 3rd from the top. Ronis
crap.
is very hard to get rid of.
He's a very spicy boy. He's super
That
strong.
card's
He's
awesome.
Like
They're
full of
all
power.
very hard to get rid of.
I like him significantly more than I like Critterhoof. Double everything is dope.
Double down. Double it. Let's do
Double
it
it,
again.
bounce it again.
Double down.
Green Warden is just expensive Eternal Witness and Eternal Witness when it dies. That's basically summary.
Yep.
Hixus is how you follow through on your threats. So when someone says, I'm going to attack you, and I say, yeah, don't do that.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to do that? Well, then Hixus is what happens. It's Hixus Prison Warden, 3 white, flash. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to me, if he enters the battlefield this turn, exile them until Hixus leaves the battlefield.
Yeah, so you can swing once.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, nobody asked if you liked it, Brian.
Again, a little bit of group hug, Jungle Wayfinder.
I thought you were saying that Hixus is group hug. I'm like, are you insane?
Well,
I don't know if
Hixus,
you know what that means.
maybe I can give you all your ETBs again. Maybe we could be friends.
Yeah, maybe. But probably not.
Jungle Wayfinder, 2 and a green. When it enters, each player can search for a basic land, reveal it, put it into their hand, then shuffle. But you can put yours into play because of Kodama.
Didoing.
Yeah,
The next one is one that I've never seen anybody play ever.
Yeah. I'm really
I had
excited.
it for a little bit.
Well, I
You're welcome,
didn't see you
Daniel.
play it.
I like that it can save Livio, is the first one.
Kogla.
Yeah.
Titan ape.
I wish Kogla had partner. Kogla and Rogrock.
Oh my god, that would have been everything.
Me being obnoxious at the table.
Kogla. Rogrok. So it's
Rogrok.
3 and 3 green for ape. Didoing. The Titan ape. He's a
For
7/6.
King Kong.
Literally King Kong, but they clearly didn't get the rights. When he enters the battlefield, he fights up to 1 target creature you don't control, up to, which means he doesn't have to, but like he's a 7/6. Whenever he attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. Hilarious. And then for 1 and a green, return target human you control to his owner's hand. He gains indestructible until the end of turn.
That is too funny.
You're making human soldiers, right?
Yeah,
Which
but
is nice.
the humans aren't what I'm... So I want to protect Livio. Livio protects everything else, and that's it. The problem with
And
Livio's
everything else
ability...
should protect Livio.
Yeah, the problem with Livio's ability is that you can exile stuff whenever you want. It's great. but bringing it back is a tap effect, and you got to have him out to do that.
That's true.
So Livio, you don't need to protect Kodama. For 2 mana, I'll blink him. He comes back. We're all good. We're
Gucci.
But you can't blink Livio.
Yeah.
That's a bit more of a problem. So most of the things in the deck are to protect Livio. I'm probably gonna put a heroic intervention in just because it's a really good card. I might need a little more protection for it, but he's also
Hexproof and indestructible. Yes,
he's
please.
so not threatening.
Yeah.
Like, Livio's not a problem. It's what I'm bringing in that's the problem. Leave Livio alone.
No.
Next one is another ramp card. Cartographer, when it enters, search for planes, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So again, every time it enters, put in a permanent of 4 or less, and then a planes with 4 or less for Kodama. It's great. This is a card that most people never play again. Lantern Scout. 2 and a white. It has Rally. Whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control gain lifelink until the end of the turn. Really solid card.
Seems pretty solid.
Yeah. Sometimes you need life back because your friends are bullies.
Next card is Lavinia the Preserver, 4 white for legendary creature Angel, 5/5 flying. When Lavinia the Preserver enters the battlefield, if an opponent has more life than you, you gain 5 life. Okay, Dan. When Lavinia enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield.
Oh, I love Linvala. So
Linvala,
much.
yeah.
Yeah. She's
Lavinia.
What?
Linvala.
I said Lavinia. I meant Levon. I can't even say it. Linvala.
Oh, that's okay. Sorry. It's all good. I didn't even.
No, I caught it.
Yeah, I completely had a different card in mind.
Yeah, I was like,
Still.
I'm like, well, yeah, Lavinia has a card. That's real. We're cool. Yeah. Not this one, but one nonetheless.
No.
I didn't
It's an L.
even pick it up. I was just like, yeah, that's correct.
I guess to be fair, it's an L. It's white. It's also an angel. So same card. Yeah.
I don't think Lavinia has an angel.
The next one is I just really want to shout out the design department for this brilliant name. They're like, what if we made a Llanowar Elves and an Elvish Visionary be a card? And they're like, what would we call it? Llanowar Visionary. All right.
I can see it
You get
now.
a
Like,
raise.
you're in R&D, and this young upstart new apprentice runs up to Mark Rosewater. He's like, I got this great idea. If we combine these 2 cards,
And just add 1 colorless
Add
mana to
one
it.
more mana.
What would you call it? See, that's the brilliant thing. You're never going to see this coming.
Mark.
Llanowar
Just
Visionary.
like gently places their finger on his mouth. Just shh. Mark.
Yeah,
Just go with it.
$5 challenge. Who can guess what it does?
You draw a card, make a green.
Yeah.
I too am a
And you
visionary.
combine the power and toughnesses.
So
I can just read your thoughts without looking at the card.
So what we need in Commander
Fusion.
Legends, in Commander Legends 2 is we need Llanowar Elf and Elvish Visionary partners.
I'm sorry, but Commander Legends 2 is something that will definitely happen that I didn't even think
Boogaloo.
about.
Oh, yeah, it'll happen for sure.
I didn't even
100%.
think about it.
You know what they'll
Oh
probably
my
do in the
God.
next one, though?
What?
All of the pre-con commanders as the etched ones.
Or triple partners. Instead of partners, you can now have threesomes.
Triplets.
This commander
they'll
has
bring-
polygamy.
They'll bring back companion.
Play with
is
how
what
many
they'll
you
do.
want.
You can start a
companion.
family.
You can have a third.
Anyways, the next one is Luxodon Life Chanter of 5 and a white for an Elephant Cleric, and I've just also found myself really loving this card. I think that it's got such a good, first off, with the ability for me to get lifelink if I need to, is okay, but not from this card. Sorry. My train of thought everywhere with the Rally Scout still. When it enters, you can have your life total become the total toughness of all creatures you control, which can at times be good. It's an all right panic button, but for 5 and a white, he gets XX until end of turn, where X is your life total. And you can do that in response to the enter the battlefield.
What a big
You also have a billion ways to give trample
Yeah.
in this deck.
What a big
Well,
boy.
it's really fun. A lot of people do not pay attention when they play Magic. Everyone
True.
just sits there. They're on their phone unless it's their turn and stuff. So they're like, oh, yeah, what's that? I'm like, it's 4/6. I read everything when it comes into play. I'm like, 4/6 Luxodon Life Chanter. They're like, yeah, I'll take it.
Like, yeah, you will.
You fool.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you're not paying attention when you're playing with me and I swing some crafty stuff at you, I'm not letting you take the block back. Be prepared for that sportsmanship to happen.
Lack thereof.
Oh, I didn't know you could pump it that well. Well, get off your phone.
Yeah.
Anyways, Oresco's Explorer, 1 of the white. 2/2, when it enters, search for X planes, where X is the number of players who control more lands. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle.
Super sweet.
You can get a lot of lands into play with this. Another card for the Monarch, a giant soldier, 5 and a white for a 2/5. It's Protector of the Crown. When it enters, you become the Monarch, and all damage that's dealt to you is dealt to Protector of the Crown instead.
What a good
Seems
boy.
good.
What a helpful boy.
Yeah.
Then we got Rex Sage.
Oh, I need to find the promo Rex Ages more.
Yes.
I haven't seen any of them in a very long time.
Oh, they're so good.
I definitely did.
They are.
Was it an FNM promo?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a full art.
Yeah. So you know the art of the Rex Sage that was in Double Masters?
Yes.
It's that, but full art.
But full art with like the FNM etching.
We'll talk later. I might have an in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Sick. I definitely have one, and I was very pleased
It's
to find
so
it.
good. Also, really quickly, talking about how it's the artwork for Double Masters, they got to stop just giving away the good artwork of stuff. Cut it out.
Agree.
I get that you disagree. You're wrong.
I'm not.
It took me so much time to get good Sakura Tribe Elder for Hope's Marin deck.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, this is the artwork on all of them.
Yeah, we're just gonna use it now.
I actually like the original Sakura Tribe Elder artwork better.
So ugly.
Well,
and
I think
goofy.
Lotus Bloom also commented on her Judge promo Zur.
Yeah. Well, that's the same
And-
thing. Jacob Zur deck has the Judge promo. That was
Yeah,
like a
'cause-
$60 or $70 card
Yeah,
for a
Jacob
while.
made like a really big point about getting all these like promo cards and now it's like
now they're
oh,
just using.
Now they're
I'll
just
tell you
like,
a promo that I recently saw that existed and I don't like is the Judge foiled Demonic Tutor, the new one.
I don't know how I feel about it. They're so
It's-
strange. I'll show you them at the end of the episode. They did this whole new kind of series. It's got like a creepy little kid on it. That's the
With
one.
a mother.
Yeah.
I like the original Demonic Tutor. If I can pick any of them, just the OG revised Alpha Unlimited Beta one. That's my favorite.
a geek
I
boy.
will say I do like the new Vampiric Tutor, the Judge
Agreed.
promo one with the vampire over the like table. I love that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That sounds doofy.
Some of them are good. I just personally, I really like one of my favorite cards for combo based decks is Food Chain. Love Food Chain. I still play a Prosh deck because I can't grow up. You know, I get there's better Food Chain commanders. It's still Prosh is still real fast. So,
Anyways,
but I went out and I bought that Food Chain because as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is beautiful. But if they reprint it, they're just gonna be like, this is the new Food Chain artwork. Get over
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
Then I'll be sad.
because they're not gonna use the weird like worms in the pile of
The,
duty.
yeah.
I love that. The original
Me
Food Chain.
too.
It's awesome.
I love it. It's
so
a weird
ugly
one.
and dumb. That's just
It's
like
a reserve list card, right? So they can't.
uh,
I thought it was reserve
think
list.
so.
no,
I don't think
I
it's
don't-
reserve
it's
list. There was a
not.
judge promo like
It's
a
absolutely not.
year ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know, I don't know.
regardless,
Mercadian Masks.
yeah, it's just not. But
Can
yeah,
you imagine if Mercadian Masks became?
Mercadian Masks is one of my absolute favorite Magic sets, and I say it all the time. It's so dumb and weird.
It's a binder I
so
make people
weird.
go into all the time.
There's
It's a great set.
that one of my like things that I cannot wait for at work is when I have to build the Mercadian Mass binder because I'm just like can't wait. I'm so excited. I love that stupid set.
Just love going through it.
So dumb. I love it.
Back to our list of cards though.
Yeah, who cares?
one of the ne-
Mercadian Mass.
One of the next ETBs that I've got is Regal Force. Enters, draw a card for each green creature you control, which is generally a lot.
So good.
Brian, please, the next one.
Oh, the next one.
You don't-
Oh, you're saving the best for me? Is Seedboard Muse.
What does
3
it
and 2
do?
green. It is a creature spirit. And untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. I like this one more because like there are other cards, and I think they're even cheaper CMC, but it affects everyone. Everyone can untap whatever, and this one is only me.
I want to find like a really beat up one and just cross it out and just write Livio's heroine.
Wow.
Oh,
The next
that's a
card
good one.
Sets Tiger. 2 colors, white, 3/3 cat. It has flash, and when it enters the battlefield,
Wow.
you gain protection from the color of your choice until the end of your turn.
Yeah, that's pretty
Very
sweet.
good.
Yeah, you gaining protection is very solid.
Look, blinging out his cat. Got a nice little headpiece on.
Also, let's hit that sweet draw again. Am I right, boys? Soul of the Harvest, 4 green, 6/6. With trample, whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Again, with a sweet, sweet draw, with the sweet, sweet bonks.
A card that should have been black but is white instead. Sun Titan.
Sun Titan
for
would
white.
have
You know
been good
what?
as black.
You're right. Moon Titan, Night Titan,
One of my favorite things about
Evening Titan.
One of my favorite things about this card is from the Graveborn Premium Deck series when they did the Animate Dead. The artwork that they did for Animate Dead was a zombified Sun Titan being brought back to life.
That's cool.
Stop.
I haven't seen that, but that's
They
sick.
should actually do like Sun Titan should have been black, and then Grave Titan could have made 2/2 soldiers and been white.
Yep. But they flipped it.
That would've
It's
been
still
pretty
cool. Still cool.
The
But,
white token one, it does make more sense that way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it does.
But it's neat
Have to
either way.
agree.
Sun Titan for white for a 6/6 giant vigilance. When Sun Titan ETBs or attacks, you may return target permanent card with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Card's
Still love this
fantastic.
card. Yeah, super, super good. Play it in every deck I can.
The next one, sometimes you have to sacrifice Livio after you tap him, but it's Sunblast Angel. It's 4 white. When it enters the battlefield, destroy all tapped creatures.
Amazing.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Sometimes,
Yep.
sometimes you've got to say bye-bye to...
Yeah. Again, sometimes you need to use the panic buttons, my guy.
It's also a great politicking thing. Like you attack me, I'm going to save all my things, and I'm going to blow up the board.
Yeah,
Very true.
like sometimes you need to. Other people sometimes outramp you, and you need to be able to get back to a point where you can get ahead again.
Or at least get even.
I don't get ahead, I get even. Yo, the next one actually is a card I started including in ETB decks to get even.
I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
So many people that I play with are just bad people.
Counter
Yeah.
sleuths.
And Sun Cleanser is 1 and a white. When it enters, remove all counters from target creature. It can't have creatures on it for as long as Sun
Can't have
Cleanser.
creatures on it.
Can't have counters on it for as long as Sun Cleanser's on the battlefield. Or target opponent loses all counters. That player can't get counters for as long as it's there.
I
So
love not
experience
having
counters
poison.
gone.
Poison counters.
Oh no, Dan, bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's experience counters because Matt's a bad person and Hope's a bad person.
Oh, okay. I don't fall in that category yet, so I'm good.
You have
Not
a
yet,
Marin deck. You
but
follow that
soon.
category.
Yeah, soon. Dan hasn't played it yet.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet. Although I want to play an experience counter deck later today. I really want to try Kelsey, and I haven't played it yet.
Well, let's play later tonight.
Let's do it. Kelsey of the
Dude up.
Audio listeners, I apologize. Anyways, that's like kind of the gist of the deck. I do have a lot of ETB things. I want to talk about strengths and weaknesses and like ways to maybe just quickly get around them. Number one,
Can I
biggest
be-
weakness of this deck is going to be commander hate. Your deck, it's got lots of good cards without the commander, but the commanders will really, really like turn this deck on. Like this deck is an
Kodama
acoustic
just turns
guitar
on.
that can be plugged in. Sure, you can play a great song, but the other one is Hushbringer. If somebody plays Hushbringer, very simple solution. You look at what's in your hand, place it on the table, ball your fist up, you hit them because it's a bad card. Hushbringer is real bad. Hushbringer, Torpor Orb, anything that is going to shut off ETB effects is going to really, really destroy this because I didn't learn my lesson from playing Slivers against Humility. I put a lot of my removal onto ETB effects.
Sounds good to me.
A lot of my removal, a lot of my my enchantments have permanents, like with the Dawnglade. All my permanents have hexproof. With the Dawnglade Regent, they all are dependent on that ETB. And I don't know if anyone was listening to that very brief instant and sorcery section. There's not a Swords to Plowshare in here.
Yeah, there's actually not a ton of removal other than creatures.
Yeah, there's Kogla. I can fight the Hushbringer. No, I can't because it's an enter. So, little problematic. Understand if you're shutting off ETB effects, you're probably getting every attack available until it's done, and you're getting every, I will blow up whatever Brian says if he can help me kill Zach in this situation.
I also think a Draneth Magistrate could be pretty brutal in this deck.
Well, yeah, especially because Draneth can come out so quickly, and you really want to get Livio out early. You don't want to... This isn't a deck where you're going to play Kodama first and then try get Livio out later.
No.
You want Livio out. You want to start building up those creatures that you can have exiled for the big blink when you need to. It's really, really nice to be able to, the turn you're going to get Kodama out, get him out, and then the next turn be able to re-ETB a ton of stuff and really value. The strengths are very obviously that you are going to just everything you do is going to be generating a second effect. You're going to get a lot of acceleration, and I will be very blunt about it. You are going to have significantly more mana than everyone else at the table. They're going to attack you. You are going
Kodama
to
just seems bonkers. Like,
he just is.
So another strength I think of this deck is like it's a unique design space for Selesnya, right? Like, yes, there's a giant mana package because it's green, sure, but
it wasn't everything that's green.
Yeah, but to be able to cheat things in this way, in this fashion, it almost feels like a reanimator deck, right?
Well, that's kind of like it seems like almost an Orzhov and like a Simic slammed together, right? Because Simic's taking advantage of like the kind of quicker speed to get things in and out, the activated abilities, like those are generally more Simic abilities. And then exactly like you said, Zach, the play style of reanimation where you're just constantly reevaluating all the cards that you get.
I also think
I'm sorry.
Not like, I mean, for you, Dan, if you played a lot with your brothers, they'll kind of get hip to what's going on with this deck. But like we talked about the Salamander deck, I think this deck really, if you go to your FLGS and you play this, I don't think people are going to be prepared for what you're doing.
Yeah, it is really nice to see.
There's a lot of obscure cards that just don't see a ton of play that they're just going to be like, wait, what does that do?
I want to take a photo of it.
Yeah.
I had to stop and do that for Dust Elemental.
Yeah, right. A lot of people.
Yeah, I've never seen Dust Elemental before.
Dust Elemental is a really cool card. I really like it.
I played with that when it was in Constructed.
Yeah. And again, I really like the Genesis wave, but like anything that's going to stop like activated abilities is going to be like very problematic to you. And then anything that turns off like the ETBs, like those are and a Hull Breacher. If somebody's playing a Hull Breacher, I'm going to kill them because I need to draw cards in this deck. Like if I had $1 for every time I've mentioned this episode, I could probably almost afford the deck.
That would be so funny because that's all it would take to like ruin that for you.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there with no cards in my hand like an animal.
Marilyn.
Ugh.
Dan, I'm prepared for you.
Oh, that's too many Hull Breachers.
Wait, how many Hellbreachers does he have? I can't see the video.
Like
this is 6 and there's 2 in decks already.
We were.
I've got a problem.
That's a big vibe.
Yeah, really quickly, we were talking about, or not talking. We were playing a game over at my place before our new big Rona restrictions, and somebody got it out like turn 2, and Hull Breacher just really wrecks the table. Draw. I say all the time, ETB and Landfall are my favorite mechanics, but draw is the one right under that. Like I love to put as much draw as I can in decks.
She's Kang.
Yeah, any commander that includes some draw, I throw into every deck.
So
yeah,
sorry.
Go ahead,
Brian. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, draw is what keeps you going. Like, if you're just dropping gas and everything like that, and you like, I run to that with a lot of my decks, is that I can never follow up after.
Yeah, like
I get these big plays, and then it's just dry after.
Peter's out.
Well, yeah, and
then you're just top decking lands.
That's actually why I've like tried to. I haven't been playing my elf decks lately because like elves have like a really like good strength of you get everything out so fast. You've overwhelmed the table. You out generate all the mana. But once you lose to that single board wipe, like rebuilding that hand in an elf deck is not an easy thing, right? Like
no,
that's why Azuri's so good because if you have the mana, you can kind of save the other elves. But I've seen a lot of decks just like so far ahead and then just blown out entirely by one board wipe. They cannot reset. Like sometimes maybe you kept a greedy hand and you're like, I can, as long as that's another problem is a lot of people think if this isn't interacted with, this is going to be good. And you have to
assume that things are
I expect everyone's going to try and blow everything I play up.
Yeah.
So
one card
even sometimes, I was going
to say one card I think with talking about all the card draw and potential for the deck to peter out, which I don't think this deck will, but Rishkar's experience seems like it'd be insane in this
love
deck.
Rishkar's expertise, yeah.
And then same with, I don't know if it interacts the way I think it does, but does Teferi's protection work with this deck where if you
because they don't re-enter. They just phasing is they just basically cease to exist, then they continue to exist.
Okay.
So
but Rishkar's expertise seems
Rishkar's is so good in every deck. The reason there's probably not a Rishkar's in this deck is because I can't find any more Rishkar's expertise. There's a lot of cards that I like that I just buy out pretty much everyone that's in. Like I don't think anyone in the city's even seen a Gen Wave in a while.
They're tough to find. I
Maybe
don't get
that's the
mine out
real
long.
reason that nobody plays them.
Yeah, like, well, every time I go to stores, like Phoenix, for instance, here, they will just be like, hey, we have some Gen Waves in if you want them. And I'm like, I do.
I do. Thank you.
I love Gen
Bag
Waves.
them and tag them, boys.
I mean, the card's what, probably 10, 15 years old?
Yeah, it's so good. Genesis Wave.
I'm gonna just have to start going in and buying every Smothering Tithe and Seaboard because all the
Start.
Yeah, I was going to
What do you
say,
mean
start, Brian. That's what
start?
you do.
No,
I buy
I've been
every
actually
Smothering Tithe I can
trading them
find.
back.
You're
trade them to me.
releasing them back into the wild.
Yeah.
If you love them, if they really love you, they'll come back.
I do this with village rights. Every time I see any stacks of village rights, I just buy them all.
Yeah,
Fortunately,
you said you just
that's like
love
a-
that card now.
Dirt cheap card, and it was just printed.
There's literally not a situation where village rights is bad.
I've been
When you don't have any creatures in play.
brewing just too
Still
many
not
decks
bad.
lately, and I just don't have a lot of my like commander staples that I play.
hmm
I really need to replenish them.
I was really hoping with Legends we would have seen a ton more Soul Rings in pack.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about that.
Zero.
The reason you saw 0 is because they're not in the packs.
Yeah, they're in the collector's packs.
They're in collectors and they're in decks.
Yeah. So they advertised it that it was like a
In the
card
set.
in the set, but it's only because they were in the commander product and you can
It's on
pull the
the
commander
list.
product
Well,
cards.
same with the Sigarda's Aid, right? Like, I was like, oh, dang. I was like, dip. They're reprinting Sigarda's Aid. That card rules. And then, but it's just in the deck.
And Swords of Plowshare.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
only
Same
in the
with collectors.
collector. I was so angry.
Well,
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't pull any of these.
we opened up a lot of Commander Legends.
Yeah.
We opened up, and this is funny, enough to be a problem at our store.
Yes.
Like, we opened a
Yes.
lot of Commander Legends. We were bad people. But
That's not bad.
that being said, get there earlier.
It is bad when they do it during pre-release and you have no product and they just steal it all, basically.
Yeah, we basically so you could not buy, like, you could only buy a limited amount of, there was pre-order product, but Wizards didn't send the boxes in time. So they're like, okay, well, here's like a limited amount of product for pre-releases. So we are all animals, and me and my brothers are like, we're going to register for 14 pre-releases. Yeah.
You know, our stores, though,
I
I
think
think we
I
had
very
one
much
store that had one that ran pre-releases, and everybody else didn't run anything. They just sold their product.
I very much think that we're going to put like rules in place now because of this, straight up. Like, I think that you have made us have to, like, you know, like when you see a sign and you're like, there's a reason that sign exists. I think that
Daniel and his brothers are going to be the reason for the sign.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, I have a real stack of Baron Singer.
Well, it's just a weird situation because normally like stores get the product like the early buy like the same day as pre-release, like for the same week as pre-release, and we just didn't. Nobody did. So
Nobody in London got anything.
But like
exactly.
you said, right?
It's just a weird situation.
Most places, because of like the whole global pandemic and not going anywhere thing, that little thing, most places aren't hosting pre-releases, so they were able to like sell some of those.
Yeah, we're just big.
Yeah.
We just have
We
an
had, we
enormous
had stores, though, that didn't even get their pre-release allocation for pre-release weekend.
Oh yeah,
They got it,
allocation
like,
was
2 or 3
really
days
messed
late.
up, Henny.
Oh, and that's the one thing I do want to just quickly touch on before we're done. I think we've said everything we want about the deck. Things enter the battlefield. You've got Kodama. We get it.
Yeah, we get it.
There's lands. It's green.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
You get there.
Battle cruiser magic at its finest.
Yeah, exactly. This is like, yeah, there's some cool plays. You've got pseudo flash, but
Yeah.
like this is not a big brain deck. Like
So,
you're gonna be able to figure it out. What I wanted to say though is I see so many people all the time right now talking about how, oh, it's a print to demand set. The prices are going to come down. So have the last 4 sets been.
Yeah, jumpstart.
Yeah, tell me how buying an Emiel's going.
Tell me how
you
an
can find
Allosaur Shepherd is going down in price.
Yeah, what's Bruvac looking like? I think he's 70 Canadian dollars or something right now.
Yeah, Allosaur Shepherd just went up another $15.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Very cool. Yeah, so like the quote unquote print to demand that all these sets are, maybe it is print to demand, and maybe what I say on basically every episode is right. Commander players are animals. Like
That is true.
the print to demand doesn't mean that the demand is being met. Like
I was gonna say, like, I had a customer. I was telling Daniel about this. I had a customer talking about how I couldn't believe that arcane signets were still $6 Canadian. And I'm like, he's like, I'm going to wait till they go down. I'm like, they're not going down.
Yeah, they're not going down.
And
man.
he's just like, well, they just got reprinted like into the ground. And I was just like, nope.
That's
I'm
Not
like,
really.
That's
I'm
kind
like,
of,
one,
really.
they didn't because the set was huge and there weren't a ton of them that came out of those boxes. But also, Commander players are black holes. If I get an Arcane Signet, I'm not trading an Arcane Signet. It's $6. It's not worth the trade.
I only got 3.
But that's
like,
what
out
I
of-
mean. Like, it's not only
one
is it
per
not
box.
worth the trade, but
Find
it's
mine,
an
man.
auto
There you
include.
go.
allocation wise, even if it was like in 1 and 3 packs in those things, you still wouldn't see them. Like Hope was saying, right? Like players just keep those cards. They don't bring them in. It's very rare that they like trade them off. Like a lot of like even stores with soul rings and stuff, right? You don't really see a lot of soul rings coming back in because players want them in the deck.
Yeah. So
That's what I was just looking up, and I'm on Star City's website because I'm in the U.S. and they're the closest shop to me.
Ooh.
But even still, soul rings at the bare minimum are like $4 US and
$6 Canadian, $4 US.
and 3 if you can get them out of the latest commander decks. But
Yeah.
even still, like
But even to give you
You'd have-
like a perfect example, I cracked 4 boxes of Commander Legends and I got 5 Arcane Signets. That's
Yeah.
not much.
I made out pretty well on the arcane signets, but it's the same thing. I'm not trading any of them in.
No. Why would I?
Well, you were complaining about not having enough like 4 episodes ago.
It's not even not having enough. It's I like to build decks. I've got a few, if anyone doesn't know. For me to put any new good staple in is just like any new artifact. Like I have over 200 completed decks right now. To arcane signet into half of them would be quite the collecting process.
Well, it would also be extremely expensive. So
Yeah,
if you
$600.
Yeah, so if you like fall into them, like
But even if you have like 5 decks and you crack 4 boxes and you get 5, now you have 1 for each deck.
and that's it. You know, you don't have room to like let go of them.
A lot
Same
of
thing like 3 visits. You can't find them. Like,
I know that was such a good reprint.
I got 3 out of my 4 boxes.
Nice.
That's nothing. Now, mind you, I went to an FLGS and bought them out and traded for some. So
Yeah.
I have 3 visits for days, but
But it's
Yeah,
like
I'm
you
gonna
said exactly.
definitely be asking for more of those.
It's such a good card, and like if you play any multicolored decks, the ability first off to get the triomes. I talked so much good stuff about the triomes because I have the older collection. I had 3 visits, and the ability to go grab those things with it was like the forest type on a 3 card is really good.
And
really,
what?
really good.
The triomes are only like $1 or $2, right? Like they're not much.
no, they're
No, that's
like
wrong.
$8.
I no, we were talking.
Oh,
It's an old
sorry.
episode, and we were talking on it, and somebody kept arguing with us on one of the
yeah.
posts, and they're like, "That's like a 50-cent land. Like these are bunk." I was like, "I will buy every one of
Every
them
one you
at
have.
50 cents." I was like, "I don't care the color pairing. That offer still stands. I will buy literally any quantity of triomes.
Your entire stock, I will buy them.
If you have 200 triomes that you want to get rid of at 50 cents, I will take that deal any day of the week.
Yeah.
Call me in the middle of the night. I'm in.
Yeah.
No question
Daniel's
about it. Those are
number
so
is
good.
555-555. No.
Hey,
They're gonna know that
bring it up in bed.
309.
Yeah. But yeah. That was a really big thing that we did. That was really funny. I forgot about that. But yeah, triomes are like $10 to $15.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
anyways.
I do think that these prices are going to go down a little bit, but then I think that they're going to turn around and go back up.
Yeah.
Right there, buddy.
That's how I feel about all the etched foils. You guys know how hard I've been working to complete the entire set, and a lot of them are very, very reasonable. Like, actually,
For
a lot of them
now.
are disgustingly cheap. And
Until you
I'm
see
just like, yes.
Rograk.
I really think that the uncommons are gonna really shoot up because we found like in all of the boxes that we opened, including all of the collector boxes, because we opened a buttload.
The spacing was really,
work.
really, like it was.
It was the rares. There were a lot of rares, but the mythics were about medium, and the uncommons were hard to get because there's so
Yes.
many, and you only got one at a time.
I
I
think there
cracked
was,
4
sorry.
boxes and got 3 uncommon etched foils in my 4 boxes. That's it.
But even like opening collector packs,
like
were
where they're in it.
guaranteed one. It was like you're guaranteed a minimum 2 up to 3, but you're only guaranteed 1 uncommon. There's so many uncommons.
Yeah.
I really
was-
I
like.
think there's
all
a really underrated uncommon commander was the bird. that
LCR.
any commander that gets targeted
Yeah.
costs 3 more. Like I just
Sure.
We have an etched
I
foil
just
on the
feel like
table for it.
underrated.
Hype.
Yeah.
I said that
They're
wrong
all-
the whole time on the episode. I kept calling it Elsior, and I will never stop.
They're all good. You guys know how many uncommon legendary decks I've put together in the last, I don't know, week,
They're
3
so
weeks.
good, Zach.
You've been brewing, Zach?
I,
Stop.
That doesn't sound like you, honey.
one of the
There's
last
a-
things I do want to say before we end up leaving here is that I am going to, unironically, of course, get a full 4x4 sheet setup of prismatic pipers and etched foil and frame them.
That is so dumb.
They came in etched foil?
Yeah, they sure
yeah,
did.
they did.
I didn't know that.
They look awesome.
They do
All the
look awesome.
legendaries, my
so
guy.
good.
It's a silly card, and I just think it'd be hilarious to have a 4x4 frame of
They
them.
are stunning.
I really kind of want to. How many legendaries were in that? There's 36 etched.
No, 36 on the list.
Yeah.
And then all of the ones from the
The
set
legends from
also.
the set.
I would really like to frame each of the etched foil ones.
I want them to continue etching.
I
I
do
want them to
too.
continue
I love the
style.
sparkly,
The sparkly, the fact that they don't flipping curl.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
flat as a board.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
They don't curl, doggy.
Adrian was talking
That's
about
awesome.
one
We
of the,
left them out.
one of the things that we might be doing
What?
or might see at like GPs and stuff is foil etched sheets. Because like that would be like
Ooh.
quite the GP prize for people, and like obviously they made them because there's so many.
Oh my god.
It
So-
would be just sweet to do like the GP promos in etched foil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Etched foil
I
is
would-
everything.
I would like to see etched foil on more cards. I don't
Me
like
too.
I
the
do
process.
too.
But anyways, we're ranting, guys. Hope tell them where they can find us.
All right, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Into the 99 or Into the 99 podcast. Also check out our Discord. We've got a super active community. We also have recently added a couple new members to our team, whether that's writers or, of course, Benson and Ryan are delightful moderators. We love them. Also check out our Patreon if you're looking to support us in a more financial way. And we'll see you guys every Tuesday for streaming. Tuesday? Yes?
And
you guys
That's where
follow
we
us on
be
the
slinging
Apple-
spells.
yeah,
If you guys find us on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. It helps us tremendously.
Yes, please. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys.